Hello everyone, my name is Kaustav Roy, and as a part of case study, we plot control chart and we choose one hospital and we choose three competitors and we select five parameters to do our analysis. So the challenge we face is like we have to download the data manually from this data.cms.gov website for each and every year. And the second challenge is we need to apply filter for four hospitals and five parameters from each year. So we have data from 2015 to 2022. So we have to repeat the same process for 7 to 8 times. So we are trying to build a code that will minimize the manual effort, and it will build a redundant code that like if we pass the parameter as a variable, then we can get the control chart automatically. So let's see the data structure first. And this is the HCAPS hospital data for 2022. So this is the facility ID. So facility ID is unique for each and every hospital. And this is the facility name, that is the hospital name. And this is the measure ID. And this is the measure description. And each measure will have numerical values in either patient service star rating or answer percentage or linear mean value. So now let's go to the R code. So the very first step, we are just loading the libraries. So we need dplyr and ggplot to these two libraries here for our analysis. And the next step is declaring the variable. So declaring the variable, first we choose one hospital for our analysis. The provider ID should be given here, and the competitor provider ID should be given in these three variables, and the five attributes should be given in these five variables, and the analysis start year should be given here. So if you want to do our analysis from 2017 itself, not from 2014 or 2015, so we'll just put 2017 here. So we will put 2015 here. The next part is the importing the data set. So this was one of the challenge that we are facing to manually download the data. So we will use the web scraping method here so that we do not need to download the data manually. The R will do it for ourselves. So the first point here is like here are the latest files for each and every year. So this is the 2020 file, 2022 year of latest data. So we will just copy the link address, and this is the like format. So download.file will download the file, but it will be in zipped format. So we have to unzip it, and from that folder we have to read the required CSV file that you need for our analysis. So the first statement is download.file, and you have to give the URL here and the name of the zip file. So this is for 2015. And once the downloading the file is done, then we have to unzip it, and from if the when the unzipping is done, then we have to read the particular CSV file into our data frame, and then we'll check the data. So let me run this for you. So now downloading the data is happening, and after that unzipping will happen. So we are unzipping the whole folder, and then we will read the hcaps hospital.csv file into our data frame, and then we'll just check our data. So we can see 2015 data set is read. So this is the data frame. So this looks good. So now let me run this web scraping part for the rest of the years. Now the data is getting downloaded for 2016, and now the unzipping is done. Now the data is getting downloaded for 2017. Unzipping is happening for 2017 dataset. And now we are reading the HCAPS hospital data into DF underscore 2017. Two 2017 dataset is done. Now we're going for 2018. We are reading the CSV file for 2018. Now we're downloading the data for 2019. Unzipping. Now we are reading the data. hcapshospital.csv. Now we are downloading the data for 2020. Unzipping. Reading the data for 2020 into DF underscore 2020 data frame. Now we are downloading the data for 2021. Unzipping 2021 hospital dataset. We are reading the file hcapshospital.csv into DF underscore 2021. Now finally we are reading for 2022 dataset. Unzipping. Now we are reading the data. So all the data frames are ready now. So now we need some manipulation here. So here you can see from 2015, 16, 17, 18. From 2018 itself, um, the first field name is changed to facility.id, but at the very first it was provider ID, so we need to change the facility ID to provider ID, and the hospital name is also changed to facility name. Previously it used to be hospital.name, and here the facility ID is imported as character, so we need to change it to integer. So in these three steps we'll do that. So the web scraping and the field manipulation part is done. So now we are going for the analysis. For the analysis, we have created three functions. The first function is for data filtering, the second function is for data manipulation, and the third function is for data plotting. So I'll discuss this one by one. And now let's run this function first one by one. Okay, so in data filtering, what we are doing is like df underscore 2015 data set, it holds all the hospital data for all the measure IDs. So now we want to filter out our data for those four hospitals and those five attributes that we have selected. And then we are calling the function data underscore filtering that we have created here. So what will happen when you call this function? So df underscore 2015, that is the data frame name, that is the input parameter for this function. And when you call that function, it will go here. And from that particular data frame, it will just filter out all the provider IDs. And this pipe symbol indicates the OR function. And then it will filter out all the required five attributes. And then we will select only the required fields. So now let me run this. So for 2015 underscore filter dataset, we can see 20 rows. So this is because we have selected four hospitals and five parameters. So 5 cross 4 is 20. So that is fine. And we are creating one new column, that is year, and we are putting the value manually, like for each and every data frame. So for 2015, we are putting the year as 2015, and like way for from 2015 to 2022. So once this part is done, then you're going for data manipulation. So all these data frames holds the individual year data for all the four hospitals and five parameters. Now we need to concat this into one uh, data frame, and we have named it as df underscore concat. And we are binding all the data frames of individual year data for our respective hospitals and then parameters. And after that, we are filtering the data with respect to analysis start year. We have declared this variable in the very first in the global variable section. So if you want to analyze the data from 2017, so it will delete the data before 2017. And the next step, we are just converting the year to character. And after that, we are converting these three variables into numerical variables. And when you convert this to numerical variables, so if it is not compatible with the data type, the not applicables, like the not applicables, it will be converted to NA. So once we convert these three variables to as numeric, then we are selecting the value that is not null for each and every attribute. And then finally, we are calling the data manipulation function. And here we have two parameters. We are passing the data frame name and the first attribute name, like the attribute that you have selected in the global variable. So when we run this, the code will be shifted to this function, that is data manipulation function. And what will happen, I'll just let me run this code. So data manipulation function will transfer the df concat as input parameter to this function. And when it goes here from the data concat, it will filter out the field that we have passed as input parameter here. So after this step, we will have for the particular field, we will have all the data for all the four hospitals and for all the year. And after that, we'll calculate the UCL and LCL as per the formula. So we'll calculate the mean of the numerical value, answer percentage, plus 1.96 into standard deviation. And at the very last, we'll filter with respect to only the hospital that we chose to analyze. So once data manipulation step is done, then we'll go for data plotting. So let me run this. So these are the control charts. In the control chart, first we'll print the measure name and then the measure description. And these two red lines are upper control line and lower control line. This is the observation value. And final data V1, it will consist for all attribute and it will consist all the hospitals that you have selected, and the UCL and LCL calculation is also done. And now just we'll pass this data frame to data plotting function, and in the data plotting function, let me go here. We are like printing 3 lines, and we'll point out the points also for the observed values. And finally, you'll get these 5 graphs, 5 control charts. And if you want to like do the analysis only for 2 computers, then you can insert it here as 0. And if you want to do it for only for 4 parameters, then you can just put it blank. So I hope it helps. Thank you.